Hello all the students. Welcome to the online course of matrix methods of structural analysis. In previous video we have started with derivation of stiffness matrix for frame and we have continued with these steps considering the frame element, frame having 3 degrees of freedom per node. So total 6 degrees of freedom are there. So size of standard stiffness matrix is 6 by 6. So that local stiffness matrix we have derived through these steps. Step 1, d1 equal to 1, d2 equal to 1, d3 equal to 1, d4 equal to 1, d5 equal to 1, d6 equal to 1. And combining all these figures, that is elements corresponding to those 6 degrees of freedom and writing this local stiffness matrix. Up to this step we have covered in very first part of this video. Now second video, this today's video, it will cover the transformation of this local stiffness matrix into a global stiffness matrix. Okay, and it is because of, now here this is the transformation matrix for frame element. As we know that in plane frame members are oriented in different directions, hence it is necessary to transfer that individual member stiffness matrix, the last stiffness matrix, this one that we have derived, it is for individual member, that is AB member, horizontal member, and that we have to convert into a global coordinate system, and that is performed using this transformation matrix. So for that, first we need to consider a frame element with different angle. In first step we have considered it in a horizontal direction, which acts as a beam. Now in second step, in second part, what we have to consider, the frame element at an angle theta with respect to positive x-axis. With respect to positive x-axis. Now we know the local coordinate system and global coordinate system. Okay, so according to that, this one we have also seen in truss analysis, transformation matrix of truss element. So in local coordinate direction and in global coordinate direction. So here these degrees of freedom are considered. So d1, d2, d3 are in global coordinate direction at node A, and same degrees of freedom with dash sign, d1 dash, d2 dash, d3 dash. These are the degrees of freedom at node A in local coordinate system. In local coordinate system. Similarly, the next degrees of freedom which are not written here at node B, only at node A are mentioned here, but at node B, d4, d5, d6 are the degrees of freedom in global coordinate direction, and d4 dash, d5 dash, d6 dash are the degrees of freedom in local coordinate direction at node B. So let us understand this figure first. So here this is the member AB which is inclined at angle this theta, and this theta it is measured with respect to positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction. Positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this one it is clear, member AB which is drawn at an angle theta. Now we have two axis system, one is local and another one is global. So first let us show the local degrees of freedom. Local degrees of freedom. Local, that means the element which are, or the properties which are only for that individual member, that is called as local coordinate system. And in global coordinate system, the element properties, they are with reference to a fixed frame of reference, that is global. Okay, so here first thing, that is to show local axis. Local axis. So local axis here they are shown with x dash and y dash system. So the axis which is passing through the member, that is along the member, it is x dash, and perpendicular to this x dash in anti-clockwise direction, the another axis, that is this y dash. At both point, both systems are shown. For simplicity, this at node A, at node B, both system of axes are shown, x dash, y dash. Similarly at B, this x dash and y dash. Okay, clear? Local axis passing through the member is x dash, and at 90 degree in anti-clockwise direction the another axis y dash. Now global axis. So global axis, they are common as we usually use this system, the true horizontal x axis and true vertical y axis. Similarly at B they are shown, x axis, y axis. Okay, this is global, xy global. So local coordinate system and global coordinate system, it is clear now. Now the next thing it is to show 6 degrees of freedom in both coordinate direction, local, global. So first we will show at A, local degrees of freedom, they are in local direction. So d1 dash, that is displacement in x direction, in local in x dash direction. d2 dash, which is displacement in y direction at node A, in local y dash axis. And d3 dash, that is a rotation, which is a free vector. So it can be shown directly, which is along or about the z axis. That z axis, that is here towards the observer. This axis is towards the observer, and that moment d3, it is moment about that axis. So if you take that z axis in local coordinate direction or in global coordinate direction, that axis will be same line. For both local global coordinate system, z and z dash axis are collinear. Therefore this moment d3 and d3 dash are shown equal. Okay, that means now the question is about only these two directions. So here they are shown, d1 dash displacement in x direction, that is in x dash direction, and d2 dash in y direction, that is in y dash direction, local. Similarly d4, d5 dash in x dash, y dash, d4 dash, d5 dash. Now in global coordinate direction, in global. So here this is, here this one, it is d1. Okay, make a correction. This value, it is not just d, it is d1 degree of freedom in global x axis, that is in x direction, and d2, this one, it is in global y direction. Similarly d4 displacement in x direction in global, d5 displacement in y direction in global. Okay, so very first thing is to write all these degrees of freedom in their respective coordinate direction. And lastly, this degree of freedom, that is third one, in x direction, in y direction they are covered. Now third degree of freedom, that is rotation. d3 equal to d3 dash at node A, and at node B d6 is equal to d6 dash. The same things, only they are differentiated here in two coordinate direction. In first step, starting of this video, that is in part 1, what we have seen, there is a one member, horizontal member AB. At node A, 3 degrees of freedom are shown, horizontal, vertical, this is D1, this is D2, and this is D3. So same thing it is mentioned here at node A in local as well as global. Similarly at B, D4 is horizontal in x direction, D5 in vertical direction, and D6 in rotation. So same things are again shown at B in 2 coordinate direction, because now it is in an inclined direction, it is not a horizontal member. So in inclined direction there are two different coordinate system, local and global. So it is very important to fix the direction of x dash, y dash, and direction of x axis and y axis, and according to that you go to show these degrees of freedom d1, d2, d3, d4, d5, d6 at A and at B respectively. Okay, so after completion of this figure, now next thing is to write. First we will concentrate on node A. On node A. So now it is turn to convert this local system, local degree of freedom into global degree of freedom. And how to write that we have also seen in truss analysis also. Okay, so here what you have to consider, this triangle, this is d1 dash, this is d1, and this is d2. So this d2, this arrow, we will just shift from this position to this position here, d2. So here it becomes a triangle. Hypotenuse is with d1 dash, this horizontal line with d1 degree of freedom, and this vertical side of triangle it is with this d2, and this angle it is theta. This angle is theta. So same thing that is mentioned in next slide here at node A, this point. d1 dash hypotenuse, d1 that is horizontal line, and d2 with vertical side of triangle. But now that thing we have to write with this theta, trigonometry, using the trigonometry. So this is hypotenuse and these two are the sides. So adjacent to the theta, that side it is d1 cos theta, and opposite to the theta d2 sin theta. And according to the vector addition, hypotenuse is equal to addition of these two sides. Hypotenuse d1 dash is equal to addition of two sides, that is d1 cos theta plus d2 sin theta. According to the sign conventions, write positive, upward positive. So d1 cos theta plus d2 cos sin theta. And they are further written in a simpler equation by taking cos theta is equal to L and sin theta equal to M. So next line it can be written as this d1 dash is equal to d1L plus d2M. d1L plus d2M. This is for d1 dash. This is for d1 dash. Similarly, we have to write for d2 dash and d3 dash also. So for d2 dash, which can be written in terms of d1 and d2, for that you have to again see the figure at node A. At this node A, this is hypotenuse. You have to make the triangle. Okay, this is hypotenuse d2 dash. Now this d1 it is in a right direction, and if you want to make the triangle with the two sides of that triangle taking d2 dash as a hypotenuse, so that you have to move that arrow in this direction with minus sign, minus d1, and this d2 it can be taken as it is here, as it is here, so that it can make a triangle. I will again draw the triangle separately. Okay, this d2 it is taken here, just shifted from this position to this position, just to make the figure of triangle. This is vertical side d2, this is hypotenuse d2 dash, and this line which is taken in opposite direction, this d1, it is taken as minus d1, and theta, so that theta it is written here. Here is theta, this is 90 minus theta, this is again theta, and this opposite, here it is theta. Okay, so this figure, that triangle, it is drawn here. Theta is here, opposite sin theta, adjacent cos theta. So here this horizontal line minus d1 cos theta, and this vertical line d2 cos theta, this is hypotenuse. So hypotenuse d2 dash is equal to minus d1 sin theta plus d2 cos theta, addition of these two sides. Sin theta cos theta replaced by m and l respectively. So equation can be written as d2 dash is equal to minus d1 m plus d2 l. And for third degree of freedom, that is d3 is equal to d3 dash. So as it is about z and z dash axis, so they are same. d3 dash is equal to d3. d3 dash is equal to d3. Okay, this is for node A. Degrees of freedom, local degrees of freedom are expressed in global coordinate system. So if this figure is clear, okay, all local degrees of freedom are shown in their respective local coordinate axes, and all global degrees of freedom are shown correctly in their global coordinate axis. So simply you have to make the geometry here, use the trigonometry here at node A and B, and writing it in a proper form here. These figures are not a new figure. Whatever that we have shown here, simply arranging those degrees of freedom in terms of triangle, that is shown, that is mentioned here at node A. And same thing you have to repeat at node B also. At node B, horizontal displacement d4 dash, which is expressed in terms of d4 d5 using this theta cos theta sin theta. Similarly d5 dash, I'll show again here at node B. Okay, two triangles that we have to form. One is for at node B, one is for d4 dash, another one is for d5 dash. So for d4 dash it is here. Make this as a hypotenuse. This is the lower side, and this d5 that is taken here, d5. Okay, so d4 dash is equal to this horizontal line d4 adjacent to the theta cos theta, d4 cos theta, plus this vertical side d5 sin theta, opposite, that is sin theta. So that is d5 sin theta. This is the first equation. And second equation, that is for this d5 dash. So this d5 dash, hypotenuse, this d4, that will be here minus d4, and this d5. So this d5 dash is equal to, this theta is here. Okay, d5 dash is equal to this minus d4 sin theta plus this d5 cos theta, and that is written here at node B. At node B, these two equations, d4 dash, d5 dash, cos theta sin theta replaced by L and M respectively, write down those simpler form. And third is for d6 dash is equal to d6. Here they are written direction cosines. L is equal to cos theta, M is equal to sin theta, direction cosines. Now these equations, these three equations, at node A we have these three equation number 1, 2, 3. At node B, again these three equations 4, 5, 6. So all these we have to convert into a matrix form. So here in matrix form, all global degrees of freedom. Okay, so this is written as, like we are using Ax is equal to B form in Gauss-Jordan method. If you remember, A matrix, that is coefficient of these variables, and B matrix, that is equal to whatever the elements on the side of equal to. So these 6 equations, they are written here in this matrix form. Okay, let us see those equations again. So on equal to side, this d1 dash, d2 dash, d3 dash, and on equal to side next d4 dash, d5 dash and d6 dash. Okay, so they will form this column. Okay, after that, now next d1, d2, d3, d4, d5, d6, they are in terms of this d1, d2 and d3. d1, d2, d1, d2, d3. Similarly at node B, d4, d5 and d6. Okay, so this collectively we will take into a next column, that is this one, d1 to d6, the next column matrix. Okay, this one, that is on equal to side, d1 dash to d6 dash, and they are with some coefficients along with these global degrees of freedom d1 to d6. Now whatever remaining in terms of sin theta, cos theta, which are exchanged into L and M. Now these coefficients, that is this matrix L. Now let us see how these are written. So very first equation, suppose we will take this first equation, second equation and third equation, we will see for this one. So d1 dash is equal to coefficient of d1 L, coefficient of d2 is M, plus if we see up to number 6, okay, here we have to assume that there are coefficient with 0 value are present for d3, d4, d5, d6, because all 6 we have to combine. Though in this equation only the values for d1, d2 are present, but we are writing that equation here 6 degrees of freedom equal to coefficient column into again d1 to d6 are present. So when we write d1 dash equal to, the coefficient of d1 is L, coefficient of d2 is M. Okay, so that will cover only for these first two. The remaining 4 degrees of freedom which are here, d4, d5, d6, for that we have to write here their coefficient as 0, 0, 0, 0, which is mentioned here. LM0000. Similarly, in second equation, if you see d2 dash equation, so d2 dash equation, d1 coefficient is -1, M, d2 coefficient is L, plus d3, d4, d5, d6 coefficients are not here. That means those values are not present there. Therefore, write here the remaining coefficients as 0, 0, 0, 0. And so on for this d3 dash, d4 dash, d5 dash, d6 dash. Okay, so work out all these remaining elements there, here all these remaining elements from these equations. Okay, up to this we have seen at node B these equations, remaining equations. Okay, work out for all these elements and then you will get this type of form, this way. This equation in a simplified form, it is written here as, all these are the degrees of freedom with dash. So here it is written x dash equal to L, that is this matrix, into this all degrees of freedom in a global coordinate direction, that is x. Okay, the meaning of that, it is written here, x dash is local displacement vector, L is called as transformation matrix, and this x is called as global displacement vector. Now next thing, that is the last step. Very first step, we have obtained local coordinate system stiffness matrix which is written with k dash. After that, using the transformation matrix procedure, we have obtained L matrix, that is this transformation matrix L. Now last step we have to obtain global stiffness matrix, which is defined by K equal to. Now this is the standard formula to obtain standard relation, to obtain stiffness matrix in global coordinate direction, and the expression for this, derivation for this equation, this relation, it is given in FEM theory. So here you just remember this K equal to L transpose into K dash into L. Relation is K equal to, it is a product of three matrices. First is L transpose into K dash into L. Okay. Now generally our portal frame, if we see our portal frame this way, so all angles are usually 90 degree. Okay, suppose here are the support, all angles are 90 degree. So here we will consider theta equal to, this is the theta equal to 90 degree. So if you put 90 degree in sin theta and cos theta, so L, that is consider L is cos theta, M is sin theta. So here if you put 90 degree in that, so we will get L equal to, that is sin theta equal to, sin 90 degree is equal to 0, sorry, cos 90 degree is equal to 0, and sin 90 degree is equal to, that is 1. L is equal to 0, M is equal to 1, putting 90 degree in sin theta cos theta. Okay, so here the next matrix, next last step, K is equal to this L transpose. This is the L transpose, and transpose of any matrix, that means rows and columns are exchanged. The column, it is written as row, all columns are written as row. The first column written as first row, second column is written as second row. Okay, so they are written here accordingly. Putting L and M values are 0 and 1 respectively. So how to write this L transpose, that we'll see first. So L matrix, that is this one. Okay, original L matrix, it is this one. To write transpose for this, transpose of this matrix, so see this first row, LM0000. Write that row as a column, LM0000. Similarly second row, minus ML, so write that as a second column, minus L minus ML 0000. Similarly go on with this, all these rows written as a column here, and put the value of L and M as 0 and minus 1, and write down this matrix, 6 by 6 matrix, transpose matrix. Okay, this one is L transpose. Now K dash, which is already we have defined here, K dash matrix in first video part. This is K dash, so as it is this matrix that you have to write here, K dash into L, that original L, putting the values of L and M as 0 and M. So just multiplication of these, all these matrices, that will give you this last K matrix, that is the stiffness matrix for frame element, which is perpendicular to the reference member. The reference member is our horizontal member, and frame element, if you consider the column element, so column and beam reference element, the angle is 90 degree perpendicular to reference element. So for that we can use this matrix. The product of all these three matrices, it is resulting into this matrix, 6 by 6 matrix. Okay, so here if you see all these elements, so here this 12 EI upon L cube, 6 EI upon L square, minus 6 EI upon L square, 4 EI upon L. Okay, same elements they appear here. 0 0 0 0 center AE upon L. In all these matrices, in all these, for symmetry, if we have such a dividing line, you can see all these elements are same here. Make a group of 3 by 3 elements. Same elements here. Instead of this 4, the value is 2 here. The value is 2 here. The cross are same. Now the minus sign. So minus sign that is present here in first row, first column, as well as second row, second column, except their intersection. Remaining values are all positive values. Only in first row, first column, second row, second column, except 0, remaining values are 0 except their intersection. Okay. So this is the standard stiffness matrix for frame element which is perpendicular to reference element. Again, in this also we can make this 4 by 4 by neglecting axial deformation. This matrix, it is including the axial deformation AE upon L. But generally while solving the problem, we neglect the axial deformation of column as well as beam. Axial deformation, axial rigidity AE upon L. Okay. So actually while solving the problem, we did not have to remember this 6 by 6 matrix. So here the next step, neglecting axial deformation from K, that is this K, it reduces to 2 matrices of order 4 by 4. And for that, the column and row corresponding to axial stiffness are neglected. Okay. So here, to obtain the beam stiffness matrix that we have already defined. For beam, we have already the matrix from unit number 4. This is the matrix for beam. Make a dividing line here. Make a group of 2 by 2 elements here. So 12 EI, 6 EI, 6 EI, 4 EI upon L. Same elements present here. Same elements again in this side with the value 2. Instead of this 4, you have to make this fourth element as 2. And minus sign. Minus sign, it is there in third row, third column, except this intersection. Intersection is positive. This is just a rule to remember. Okay. That is not a standard one. It is just to remember this matrix in a simplest way and writing those minus sign. Now for column member, see this matrix K. So for column member, we are neglecting the axial displacement. So you have to delete the column and row corresponding to this AE upon L, and remaining these elements, total 4 by 4 elements, they remain here. All those elements are transferred here in this stiffness matrix for column. Stiffness matrix for column member. Okay. So if you see the matrix for beam and column, these two matrices, you can see just a difference of minus sign. Remaining all elements are same. See, again make a dividing line here for the simplicity. So see a group of, this is the first group, same here, 12 6 6 4, 12 6 6 2, 12 6 6 2, 12 6 6 4. All elements are same. Now the minus sign change. In beam, it is in third row, third column. In frame, it is in first row, first column. Just a difference of minus sign. The beam matrix and the column matrix, stiffness matrices for beam and column member. All elements are same way you have to write. 12 EI upon L cube, 6 EI upon L square, 4 EI upon L, 2 EI upon L. In beam, minus sign is given to third row, third column except the intersection, and in column, first row, first column except the intersection. Okay, so this way you can remember the stiffness matrix for beam and stiffness matrix for column. So henceforth we will use these two matrices to solve the frame problem using stiffness matrix method. Now these are the steps for solving indeterminate plane frame using finite element method or stiffness matrix method, which is somewhat same as beam. Thank you.